I'd like to be under the sea in an octopus's garden in the shade. Hi everybody, Beetle Dave. I'm sorry this video was a little bit late, but this is like a belated happy birthday to Ringo Starr, who turned 82, didn't he, on the 7th of July. I did want to do a video near that date, but unfortunately I haven't been very well, so I'm going to do it now, and we're going to look at his albums from the 1970s. So it's not a ranking video. I'm not like ranking them. I might go through a couple of the songs and tell you like what songs I like off the albums and things like that. But you know, it is basically just a celebration of the albums that Ringo made in the 70s in honour of his 82nd birthday. 82. I can't believe he's 82. So his first album of the 70s was, do you know, Sentimental Journey. So this was released in the UK on the 27th of March 1970, and it got to number 7 in the UK album charts. In the USA it was released on the 24th of April, so you had to wait virtually a month, didn't you, to get your copy, and it got to number 22 in the American album charts. Now if I remember rightly, this actually was released just before Let It Be, so it made it look like Ringo was trying to pull a fast one and release an album, but in all honesty, he'd been recording this since 1969, and it was produced by George Martin. So this is the actual cover, lovely cover. I think it's a very, very nice cover, and that is the back, so you get the track listing on the back. Of course, it was released on Apple, and it's basically an album of old standards. And when I say old standards, it's basically old English pub songs from like the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, early 50s. So you've got Sentimental Journey, you've got Night and Day, Whispering Grass, don't tell the leaves, the trees don't need to know, Bye Bye Blackbird, I'm a Fool to Care, Stardust, Blue Turning Grey Over You, Love is a Many Splendid Thing, Dream, You Always Hurt the One you Love, Have I Told You Lately I Love You, and Let the Rest of the World Go By. Like I say, it was produced by George Martin, and it was engineered by Phil McDonald. So there's still a Beatles connection, isn't there? Although none of the other Beatles do actually appear on this, but Paul McCartney does arrange one song, doesn't he? Which one does he arrange? Stardust. Cracking the album. I've actually been to this pub. I haven't been in it, but I did have my photograph taken outside that many years ago, but I can't find the photo because I was going to actually show you the photo. This pub is actually where Ringo and his family used to go drinking, and apparently in them days you didn't have like jukeboxes and stuff, so you'd have a bloke on a piano in the corner, and then obviously when people had a few beers they'd all start singing, and that's where we got the idea for this album. Originally it was going to be an album for his family. That's why he did like the songs that they used to sing. Highlight for me on this album is the title track, Sentimental Journey, and You Always Hurt the Ones You Love, and I do like Bye Bye Blackbird. These songs, they're like standards, as you call now, do actually suit Ringo's voice. He's not struggling to hit high notes or things like that, so you know, it's probably something that he could do again, is like a volume 2 of this. Yeah, like I say, produced by George Martin. It's on the Apple label, and this one comes in the original Apple inner sleeve. That's the A side, that's the B side, or side 1 and side 2. Cracking album, honestly. If you've never heard it, I would highly recommend you to buy it. It is getting quite rare now for an original UK pressing, but it's not impossible to find. But for a decent copy, you're going to be talking probably around the £30 mark, maybe even a little bit more. I mean, that one's virtually in excellent condition. It's not mint, but it is in excellent condition. Now, he also released another album in 1970, Beaucoups of Blue. It was released in the UK on the 25th of September. It didn't chart in the UK album charts at all. In the USA it was released on the 28th of September, so you had to wait a couple of days after, and it got to number 65 in the US charts. Now the reason it didn't chart in the UK, the only reason that I can think of is because at that time, country and western music wasn't really that big in the UK. I know it was in America and other places like that. So for Ringo to do an album of basically sort of like songs that nobody really liked, wouldn't say didn't like, but didn't really know in the UK. Yes, there was the odd country and western song that got in the charts and things like that, don't get me wrong. But in the UK, they were more, at that sort of time, there's more sort of like looked at as like variety songs, country and western, believe it or not. I know it's very, very big now, and you've got your line dancing and all that lot, but in 1970 it wasn't like one of the main music types in the UK. Which is a shame, because Ringo flew all the way to Nashville, didn't he, to record this album, and every song on here is a completely new recording. So he'd got all the top Nashville session musicians backing him and everything, and it was produced by Pete Drake, I think. He was a top Nashville session man, wasn't he? And it is a shame, because again, like Sentimental Journey, the songs on here do suit Ringo's voice down to a T. And of course he had always sung sort of like country and western songs, hadn't he, on, you know, some of the Beatles songs. I mean, like Act Naturally was a country and western song, wasn't it, originally, I think. So, you know, was it Buck Owens who did that originally? So yeah, with this one, it is a gatefold. So it opens up, so you get pictures of the sessions, you get the words to the songs there, you get that is the people that was actually on the album, and it does tell you down here who they all are, but I'm not going to go into that, because obviously this is trying to make this video not that long. Highlight for me on this album is the title track, Beaucoups of Blue. There's some other nice songs on it, you know, and like I say, there was all like basically brand new recordings of you know, well, brand new songs that was written especially for Ringo. Cracking little album, really. You know, it is very, very overlooked, and like I say, it probably is something that he could do, especially with the, you know, with the musicians he's with now. He could do a Beaucoups of Blue Volume 2, but then again, he could do a Sentimental Journey Volume 2, because I think his voice would suit songs like this even more. Now, it's just a shame that when this came out, you know, country and western wasn't that big a thing in the UK. It is a good little album though, and I do play it quite often. In fact, to be honest, out of his 70s albums, I think Beaucoups of Blue and Sentimental Journeys are the ones that I probably play the most. Now his next album release, he had to wait a couple of years, so he did 2 in 1970, didn't release any albums in 71 or 72, but then in 1973 came the big one, which was just called Ringo, and I'm sure you all know this album. It was released in the UK on the 2nd of November 1973, and it got as high as number 7 in the UK album charts. In America, you had to wait till the 9th of November 1973, and it got as high as number 2 in the American charts. And it's probably his most well-known solo album. And I say solo album in inverted commas because yes, it is Ringo. The album is quite reminiscent of Sgt. Pepper in a lot of ways, isn't it? And you get the words to the songs and everything, gatefold sleeve. You get a little booklet as like drawings by Klaus Voormann, and then it's got the words to the songs on the opposite side. Cracking songs on here, to be honest. You've got I'm the Greatest, Have you seen My Baby, Photograph, Sunshine Life for Me, You're 16, Side 2, Oh My, Step Lightly, 6 O'Clock, Devil Woman, and You and Me Babe. Now, track 1, the opening track, I'm the Greatest, is basically what could actually be called a Beatles recording, because you've got John Lennon on it, you've got Ringo on it, you've got George Harrison on it, you've got Billy Preston on it, and you've got Klaus Voormann on it. So the only Beatle that isn't present on that recording is Paul McCartney. So you think you've got 3 Beatles, and then you've got 2 people that also work with the Beatles. So that song has actually got more Beatles on it than some of the later Beatles singles and album tracks, if you think about it, you know. But obviously it's a great song. John Lennon, you know, wrote it especially for Ringo, didn't he? There's also Mark Bolan's on here, Nicky Hopkins is on here, You know, there's some famous people on here. Ringo writes George writes or co-writes 3 songs on this album as well. So yeah, a cracking album. Highlights me is obviously I'm the Greatest. Photograph is an absolutely marvellous song. Should have really got to #1 in the UK, I think, that one. And check out Devil Woman as well. Really, really good rock song that is, and it was actually written by Ringo and Vinny, that one. Cracking album. Brilliant album, like I say, it's not hard to get, again on the Apple label, but this time it's a what we call a custom Apple label. So basically you get a picture of Ringo and then the Apple logo. In America your labels were slightly different to this. Your words and the text was in blue, wasn't they, where in the UK it was in green. That is the only difference. Fantastic album. Probably, you know, the most successful album Ringo ever recorded in a lot of ways. Now we go to 1974. Goodnight Vienna. Very, very overlooked record in Ringo's catalogue in a lot of ways. In the UK, it was released on the 15th of November 1974, and it only got to number 30 in the UK album charts. However, in the USA, it was released on the 18th of November 1974, and it got to number 8 in the American album charts, which is a shame because song for song, it probably isn't quite as strong as Ringo, but you know, it's not the worst album Ringo ever made, and this cover is absolutely amazing, isn't it? And that's the back. Again, released on Apple. So side 1 is Goodnight Vienna, then you get a cappella, then you get Ooh Wee, Babe, then you get Husband and Wives, and then you get Snookeroo. Side 2, All By Myself, Call Me, No Song, Only You, Easy for Me, and then a reprise of Goodnight Vienna. Again, some famous people helped him out on this. You've got John Lennon, and you've even got Elton John. You get an inner sleeve with this one. So you've got photos of the sessions there, and then you've got the words to all the songs. So like I say, you know, another custom label. Side 1, side 2. Some cracking songs on it. Produced by Richard Perry, as was Ringo. Beaucoups of Blue, I think, was produced by Pete Drake, if I remember rightly, a bloke called Pete Drake. Highlights for me on this album are Goodnight Vienna, Snookeroo's OK, and Only You. So you've got 3 on that one. Cracking little album. You know, if you're just getting into the Beatles or Ringo, you know, this one always gets overlooked, but I can't really understand why, because it is really quite a nice album to listen to, and it is one way to put on from, you know, track 1, side 1, and you listen to it all the way through to the end. Then we've got 1975. Now, what did Ringo release in 1975? Yeah, compilation album, Blasts from Your Past. Now, this was released in America first on the 25th of November 1975 and got as high as number 3 in the American charts. In the UK, we had to wait till the 12th of December, so a couple of weeks later, in 1975. And again, it didn't chart. It didn't chart in the UK charts, but it's actually surprised me. I thought this would have been a UK top 10 album. I think Ringo released this in 1975. 1, because he didn't have anything new to release that year. And 2, a bit like John Lennon with Shaved Fish, he could actually control what was on it. So you know, there's some good songs on this. You've got You're 16, No Song, It Don't Come Easy. Of course, that was written for him by George, wasn't it? Photograph, Beaucoups of Blues on it. Side 2, you've got Only You and You Alone, Beaucoups of Blue, obviously. Back Off Boogaloo, Oh My, early 1970, and then I'm the Greatest. Nice photo. I think that's quite a nice photo, Ringo. That one gives me an headache if I look at it too too much because it's like he's wobbling, isn't it? You get an inner sleeve with this again. You can get it out. So you've got photos of Ringo there. And then, again, you get the words to the songs on the back of it, on this. So, and it is on a really, really nice label as well. It is apple. But it's a red apple. Which I think is the same, I think you got this the same in America, didn't you, on a red apple. So that was like Ringo's farewell to Apple with this album. So now we're moving on to 1976. So his contract with EMI had run out, and he didn't re-sign to EMI. He signed to Atlantic in America, and I think it was Polydor in the UK. So his first release on his new label was Ringo's Rotogravia. I think that's how you pronounce it. So it was released in the UK on the 17th of September 1976 and didn't chart. And it was released in the USA on the 27th of September 1976 and got to number 28 in the chart. So not that bad, is it? You know, again, I am quite surprised it didn't chart in the UK, but then again, I'm not in some ways, because by this time in the UK we've got pub rock and prog rock and, you know, stuff like that. So this slightly seems out of tune, although there's some brilliant songs on out of tune with the times. I mean, not Ringo singing out of tune. That door on the back is actually the door of 3 Apple Row, 3 Savile Row, Apple HQ in London, and this door is actually at the Beatles it's exhibition of pop music near the Albert Dock in Liverpool. It's the old Cunard building that's in. And you know, there's quite a few things in there about the Beatles. So you've got A Dose of Rock and Roll, Hey Baby, Pure Gold, Crying, You Don't Know Me At All, Cooking in the Kitchen of Love, John Lennon's song, I Still Love You, George Harrison's song, This Be Called a Song, Eric Clapton's song, Las Perez and Lady Gay. I thought Pure Gold was on there. Yeah, Pure Gold was by Paul McCartney as well, by the way. Again, gatefold. You get photos. So, because he'd moved to Atlantic, he's had to go with another producer now. Alf Mardin. He used to do a lot of the soul albums, didn't he? Again, you know, I think Ringo tried to revert to plan A, try and get his old mates involved, i.e. Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and of course John Lennon. Although John Lennon had retired by this time, he wrote him a song, helped him record it. Paul McCartney wrote him a song, helped him record it. George, I think Ringo and George had a bit of a falling out by this time. But George did send him a song, but for some reason he didn't help him record it. I don't know if he was, you know, recording his own album also at the time. But the song George sent him was actually a song that originally he'd sent Cilla Black, I think, to record, I Still Love You. But it's a shame because it is a lovely, lovely song. So that's in the sleeve. That is side 1 on Polydor, where in America you got it on Atlantic, didn't you? Don't get me wrong, there's some lovely songs on it. Again, the musicians that he uses are brilliant. Ringo's voice on the songs on here are good. You know, there's nothing where he's straining his voice or anything. In reality, it should have been a bigger hit than it was, I think. Highlights for me are probably the 3 most, well, Cooking in the Kitchen of Love, although it is just called Cooking. A Dose of Rock and Roll is a brilliant song, to be honest. Hey Baby. Hey, hey, baby. You think how big a song that became in the 90s, you know. there isn't really a bad song on it, to be honest. But yeah, love it. I do. It's, like I say, it's a shame it wasn't a bigger hit, but I think it might have helped if it gave it a title that people would know how to pronounce. Every time I've seen a video with this album on it, people have pronounced this slightly different. I mean, I've probably got completely wrong, but I'd say that's Ringo's Rotogravia. So now we go on to 1977, the year of punk in the UK. So what did Ringo give us in 1977? Ringo the Fourth. So it was released on the 20th of September 1977 in the UK, and again didn't chart. In the USA, it was released on the 30th of September, and this time it did chart in the USA, but it only got to number 162, which is a shame because, again, it's not that bad an album, to be honest. Yeah, I think he's running out of ideas by this time. But you've got Drowning in the Sea of Love, which is a good song. Tango All Night, which is okay. Wings, so-so, but he did actually re-record that, didn't he, a few years ago. Give It All Up, which is probably the highlight of this album, to be honest. Wonderful song that is. Out on the Streets, that's side one. Side two, Can She Do It Like She Dances? Sneaking at Sally Through the Alley. It's No Secret, Gypsies and In Flight, and Simple Love Song. Again, produced by Cardiff Mowden, or whatever, I can't even pronounce the name. So, you know, cover's nice cover, sort of. Again, you get an inner sleeve with the words to the songs. Yeah, I'd say Give It All Up is the highlight of this of the tracks on here. It's sort of like, it's not crap. I will admit it isn't crap, but it's probably Ringo sort of going through the motions a little bit, I think. Although there's a couple of good songs on it. He was probably running out of ideas. Sort of a bit disco-y in places, but you know, by this time he lived the majority of the time in America, didn't he? So, you know, disco was the big thing in America, where in the UK it was punk or new wave. You know, so I think he'd probably lost his touch in the UK with that one. Still a cracking album though, you know. It's not a bad album. As I'm saying, it's not a bad album. It's probably just slightly out of time with what was going on in the music industry at the time. You know, the Beatles could get away with it, you know, in a lot of ways. You know, at their height, you know, White Album. I mean, look at some of the songs that were on the White Album. You know, the vast variety of different songs on the White Album, isn't they? It is a good album. Don't get me wrong. It is a good album. It's not one I play all the time, to be honest. Out of all Ringo's albums, it is probably the one I play the least. I do play it, don't get me wrong, I do still play it, but it is the one that I probably play the least. But I don't know why. I can't say to you I don't like it because I do like it. And finally, in the 70s, he released the album Bad Boy, or was it Ringo Bad Boy Starr? You know. So this was released on the 21st of April in 1978 in the UK, and guess what? Didn't chart in the album charts. In America, it was you got it on the 16th of June. You had to wait nearly 2 months, didn't you? And it did chart, and it was a little bit better for him in America. It got to number 126, where Ringo the Fourth only got to 162. But this was a bit like to tie in with a TV movie made at the same time, wasn't it? So I think there's a bit more effort gone into this one. That's what it seems like. And there's some good songs on this. Side one kicks off with Who Needs a Heart? Who needs a heart that is broken in two? Who needs a dream that's been shattered? Fantastic song. Should have been a massive hit. Bad Boy, which isn't the Bad Boy the Beatles recorded, by the way. It's not the Larry Williams song, and it's not that good a song, to be honest. Lipstick Traces, again, good song. Heart on My Sleeve. We all know that one, don't we? You wear my heart on the sleeve. Dee-dee-dee-doo. Dee-dee-dee-doo. Gallagher and Lyle wrote that, didn't they, I think? And then you've got side one finished off with Where Did Our Love Go? The old Supremes hit, which is done to a slightly disco-y backing, but it works. Does it actually works? Not the best album cover in the world though, is it, in all fairness? Side 2, Hard Times, good song. Tonight, That's Okay. Monkey See, Monkey Do. Old Time, Real Loving, and a Man Like Me. Now, A Man Like Me actually was the closing song on the TV film. I don't think this LP is actually the soundtrack to it, but I think a lot of the songs on it were featured in it. This time it's produced by Vinnie Poncinier for H&R Productions, it says. So that's the back. So that would, I think that would have made a slightly better album cover than that. I think, you know, but don't, you know, it is a nice record. That is the original inner sleeve, so you get the words to the songs. But then look at Ringo on there, looks bored out of his head, doesn't he? Doesn't look very happy, does he? The TV movie that, you know, he was promoting when this came out was called Ringo Starr, but it was spelt backwards, so I can never work out how to pronounce it. But it's basically a retelling of The Prince and the Pauper, where Ringo the rock star gets fed up of being a rock star, and he finds this other bloke who's a spitting image, and decides to change places with him and go and sell maps for the day of all the stars that live in Hollywood. It is actually a good film. If you can ever find it, it is actually a good film, to be honest. You know, it is quite funny in places. So that is side 1, and then that is side 2, and that's where we're not going to do anything else, because after this it goes into the 1980s, and I thought we'd just look at his output from the 70s. Highlight for me of this album would be Who Needs a Heart, and probably A Man Like Me. I'm not sure if you can stream this or not, but it is quite a good album. Honestly, it is a nice album. Some of it is sort of like a little bit forgettable in places. Other songs will stick in your head. So I hope you've enjoyed this. As always, love your records, cherish your records. From time to time you do have to clean your records, and obviously play them, because that's what we collect them for, isn't it, to play. As always, thank you to everybody that is subscribing and leaving likes and leaving comments. If you're not subscribed, please just do me a favour. If you've liked this video, go down to the bottom here, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscription button, and then hit the notifications button. Then you'll get notifications for when I am doing new videos. I try to do at least one a week. Like I say, you know, I haven't been that well just lately. I'm okay now, so, you know, wasn't anything serious. I just got a stomach bug, but, you know, I couldn't really do this when I wanted to do it, so that's why it's coming out now. So I hope you've all enjoyed it. So thank you to everybody that is supporting me in my channel, and you know, just remember, Beatle Dave loves you all. So until the next time, it's peace, love and happiness to you all, and ta-da for now, my ducks.